This is really cool. So I'm here with Alexandra Epple, who I've known for
Many years.
15,
12,
15?
15, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I think it was in
Yeah.
2002. I came back to the Valley, and then your boss at the time was checking out the Sun Valley Wellness Festival. Remember, we met in Sun Valley.
That's right. We met in Sun Valley. I clearly remember that. And you were like so excited about this whole Ayurveda thing. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and
Sounds good.
and you were working for the woman who was running the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, right?
That's right. And was I working for the wellness? I was working for the Wellness Festival already, wasn't I?
No,
No,
she was there to scope it out. It didn't even exist. The whole Jackson Hole Wellness Festival didn't even exist. Like she was there.
that's right.
She brought
And
you.
and I had just come back from Bikram yoga teacher training. And so I didn't know anything about Ayurveda. I just had started my yoga journey, I think. And then you were so excited about this whole Ayurveda thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just checking things out here in the Wellness Festival. I know nothing, but I know a little bit about yoga. Cool.
And then you
That's
went
how we
on to
met.
become this like kick-ass yoga teacher over in Jackson Hole. And then you kept asking me about Ayurveda. And then you went to California College of Ayurveda.
Yeah, no, but then I did detoxes with you. Yeah, I did one of your first detoxes in the Tetons with you. So when was that? I don't know. 2004 is my random guess.
Yeah.
3, 4, something like that. And then I did biannual detoxes with you. And then you were my first Ayurvedic practitioner. I only saw you once for an Ayurvedic consultation and for a massage. And I was just remembering back the other day about how clueless the heck I was. Oh my God. And you gave me all these things to do, and I'm just like, okay, what's a neti pod? What's this Nasya thing she wants me to do? This is all so weird.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then, but that inspired me, to dive deeper.
Well, yeah, and in deeper you dove. I mean, you became a very experienced body worker in a number of different methods and teaching Thai massage, and then you went to Ayurvedic practitioner school, and you kept teaching yoga, and I mean, really, it was cool to watch how deep you went into. Because I remember then, like I just started to see you. I'm like, right? Like if I'm gonna get body work, I'm gonna go to you. Or when you're in town, you come to my house. But just to see how deep you went in all of these different wellness wisdom traditions in the Vedic, rooted in the Vedic studies. And then when you decided to come into yoga health coaching, I was really thrilled just knowing just the depth of your passion and commitment to helping people. And I know you had gone through Jason Griscom's course on his finding clients, or right, whatever.
No,
that's
I
called.
did I did some other business course for a couple of years actually.
Oh, you didn't do
Which
Jacobs. Okay.
No, I did somebody else's, and that was great. That was awesome, but it didn't really get me a huge step forward. What it did was, you know how a kid observes things and they're just around a tribe, around their family, and they're just picking up things? That's
Yeah.
what that was for me. But I wasn't actually taking many steps yet by myself. And then that's why when I found you, and I mean, found you, so to speak, I've been observing you for years. And then I'm like, I always like watched you, and I'm like, I can only approach Cate when I'm ready. I can't approach Cate when I'm not ready to actually do something. And then I finally got to this point of like, damn, I know all this stuff now, even about business, but I'm not doing it
Right.
because I just didn't have the support community. And that's when I decided to contact you and actually step into YHC. And it just felt like such a good fit. It was just like, oh yeah, she's going to give me step by step thing. And the people who are going to be in this class, I had to sense that they would just resonate with me and we would support each other. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
how that came up.
I mean, and what's so true, it's like that implementation, right? Because there's part of us that knows we can hang out on the outside of something and we don't have to change. And so we can learn things, right? And we're learning, and it's a cognitive level of learning, but it's in the action. There's the Agni, right? There's the metabolism. There's actually the transformation that comes from Agni that gives off light, right? There's a byproduct of light that comes from transformation. And that all comes from the actual implementation. And so there's this sort of like getting ready to actually, like step into the fire. And I mean, one of the things that I've noticed with you as a course member is like, that's now what you're translating that exact same process with the people that are kind of circulating around you, and you're working in the menopause niche, the perimenopause niche, and there are people that are like, yeah, they know they should probably change a few things, right? But then there's this, hey, are you ready to actually feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you are deciphering between the people who are, it's like the shit or get off the pot. Like the people who are just kind of wanting to stay at that cognitive level of like knowing what they should be doing, right? Versus actually making the transformations, like signing up and getting in and saying, yes, I want guidance and assistance, and I want a community. Like I want to actually be with other people that are doing this. So tell us a little bit about that shift of like, as you were implementing YHC, how that changed, how you're able to help people invest in their own wellness and invest in that kind of transformation themselves.
Boy, wow, that's a huge question. Well, first of all, I have to say that YHC really helped me to birth. So to birth my program, first of all, I thought it was a really intense process. You know how birthing a child? I mean, I've never birthed a child, but I can imagine it's like huge process and it's really intense. That's what the YHC course was for me. I was already pregnant sort of when I came to YHC, and then during YHC I gave birth. And then now I have this I had this little baby, and it's like, cool, I can take care of this little baby. And now I feel like I have a toddler at home, and I just have to attend to this toddler. And you were giving this analogy the other day about having to push a wheel constantly. Well, it's kind of like that, a toddler you constantly have to attend to. I still feel like I'm in this phase of my business where I have to attend to it. And I'm spinning out of your question a little bit, but I wanted to say that because this is really big. Like YHC was really good in the birthing process. What was your question?
Yeah,
going back to your question.
No, but it kind of gets into that of like just actually having a course, and having an enrollment process so that when people come to you, because I know with you as a YHC member, we had a conversation maybe like, I don't know, it seemed like 20 times to me. It was probably only 3 where I was like, you can't just see clients you can't take new clients one-on-one without talking with them, without seeing like, what are they really looking for? And then tailoring your yoga health coaching offering to actually be an offering that they are either coming into that to work with you, or you're not going to work with them, right? Or you're going to, sell them to a really high price body work package or something, but you're no longer going to see like everybody on their own terms.
Right. Exactly. And so that was one part that's happened, like just that mindset shift of like, okay, things can only happen over a period of time. Second thing, the birthing thing. Third thing that I think was actually the hugest part that I noticed right when I stepped into the YHC community, and because you're guiding it, you're the guiding light, so to speak, I noticed that there's no room for victim mentality here. And I mean, there was no room. And I noticed that, damn, I don't really know how to be not a victim mode thing in my business, and I was trying to get out of it, but it really took me almost 2 years, like a year and a half to 2 years to get out of it. And I just noticed it a couple months ago or a month ago that finally, wow, I'm shifting into creator mode, and I'm not going back into this frustration and into this like, oh God, what am I going to do next? And I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I kind of do know. I just have to keep going step by step by step by step by step. And the steps are totally outlaid in YHC.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, cool. So now talk a little bit about when clients that you're working with, like when they like how you help them commit. Because, and I really want to keep coming back to that, because that's what you said. Like, it was like, you could listen from the outside of like, these different strategies you could apply to your wellness career to whatever, double your income or get what you wanted from your wellness career, double your impact, right? But then you knew when you signed up for YHC, like we were going to do it, right? We were going to go step by step, and the people you were with were going to be doing it too. Now, so the parallel then is the people you're talking to now that are circulating around your work and your content, and you started a podcast, you've been blogging, you've redone your website that really helps to attract the right person for you to work with in your program, right? What helps them and what helps you actually see if they're ready to commit and if you actually want to work with them, and how is that changing what's happening in your programs?
Interesting. Well, the first thing is about how I talk to people, really figuring out, well, what is their pain island? What's the pain that they're all experiencing? And really digging into that to make them really aware, because I think some people, they don't even know. They just think it's normal. Just like back then when I first saw you, I thought it was normal to have constipation, or it's normal to have mood swings. Doesn't everybody have that? I just was so normal. So really helping people in the conversation to dig deep about their pain points and not letting go until they really dug deep. I think that is a huge, huge one. If you let go of that too early in the conversation, they don't get it. They don't get that they can actually get out of, or they don't realize where the depth of the pit that they're in. So that in a conversation, and then really making clear, well, what's their pleasure island? Where do they actually want to go? And help them define it, because I find that many people don't even know what their pleasure island is. They don't know their vision. They just sense like, yeah, something's off, but what is that? And really like getting really clear in the conversation about, okay, pain and pleasure island. Now, what does it take them to get them there? Now, how do they know that they are ready to get there? Is really, I ask them, how willing are they? How willing are they to get there? Because that's a huge part. Willingness has a high vibration. There was this thing, and just to make it short, there was the scientist who mapped emotions, and willingness has a vibration of like 300, and anything over 200 is a positive vibration. So even just having the willingness to change something about yourself shifts you already into positivity. So I check in with their willingness, and I dig a little bit more about, are you really willing? Because we could be wishing or hoping something to be different, but really we have to be really willing. So I try to, really get a grip on that. And then about their commitment level, like, hey, are you really committed? Are you actually ready to put down money to make that happen for yourself? Because if you're not ready to invest, and I have a conversation around investment, and I always bring the examples around how I invested in my business and how I invested in my Ayurveda training and the yoga training. I think I spent like $90,000 by now just on my trainings. I mean, at least. This is the last time I checked. And it's like giving them some education around what it means to invest in yourself. And really the conversation with people now, which I didn't have before, is focusing on results. So it's not focusing on, a massage, or it's not focusing on the service that they're getting. It's not focusing on habits that we're teaching, or not focusing on education they're getting. It's actually conversation is focusing on the results that they want for themselves. Bam. And that shifts everything completely. Result-oriented conversation rather than service-oriented conversation. So
how does that then
that's
change?
My rant.
I love that. No, that's brilliant. That was gold, everyone. So you should, if you don't understand everything she said, or you aren't doing that yet, you need to listen to that 4 times and get it, because that's gold. So how does that help you as their coach?
Oh, it helps me to keep them accountable too. Like that's a big one, because if I know the results that they want, if they got off the bandwagon, I just go back to their intention and I say, hey, you said in the beginning you wanted to lose this weight, or you wanted to be able to run around with your grandkids, or whatever that goal or that intention was. Are you still committed? Oh yeah, right. You're right. I'm still committed. So knowing the pleasure island they want to go towards is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. So let's talk a little bit about how you came into YHC as a very experienced yoga teacher, not only a very experienced body worker, but a body worker trainer, as an Ayurvedic practitioner, right? And what I read in what you were saying, as far as what you really took away from Body Thrive was the habit changing science, the whole habit evolution, behavioral science component of it. And I'd love for you just to talk about this, because it was funny, as soon as you had started talking in the beginning about when you came to see me as an Ayurvedic practitioner, whatever that was, 2004, I didn't know any of that stuff. Right? All of that has been new to me in the last 5 years, that I've really started to implement it, and that I made it a core component of yoga health coaching, because of knowing that hey, as Ayurvedic practitioners, one of the ways that we fail the most is telling people what to do and expecting that they're going to do it.
Right. Isn't that so interesting that we learn all the habits in Ayurveda, but we don't learn how to help people change their habits? It's so interesting to me. And when I heard about that, I mean, really, I mean, the habits you're teaching in Body Drive, they weren't new to me, obviously, right? So, but then the
not
whole
at all, not at all.
the overlaying thing about how to change a habit, I mean, that shifted everything for me, how I approach the way I can work with people. Just simply knowing what a keystone habit is, helping them dial that down and helping them, the Kaizen approach. I mean, the Kaizen approach was great because I noticed I had done it in my practice, the Kaizen approach, but I wasn't conscious about it. I knew the pressure cooker approach. I call it the pressure cooker approach. Like a detox is a pressure cooker approach, right? So you're like, in 2 weeks, you're going to do everything perfect. And it's just, you're the most perfect being on the planet. And then you fall off the bandwagon. Okay. So then in my practice, I was sort of using a Kaizen approach, but I didn't have the concept. And whenever you're sort of subconscious about something, it doesn't work as well. So really getting words for the Kaizen concept was huge. And people get it because I mostly attract Pitta Vata clients, and they always want to be perfect and they want to do it all. And it doesn't work that way. Yeah. It's you plant seeds and then the seeds sprout, and then you decide which sprout you want to put more water on, and then that sprout grows a little bit more, and you water it some more, and you give it some more nutrition, it grows into a bush, and then it ultimately becomes a tree. Yeah. And I think that image is so helpful, even for me, just looking at, I work on my habits in my business now, about batch tasking and habit stacking and calendaring and time attention management or whatever. It comes in so handy. I mean, really, the whole seed planting and the Kaizen part of that.
Yeah, I mean, and even, I mean, it's fascinating to me too, as it's like, if we just look at like who's attracted into becoming yoga teachers or Ayurvedic practitioners, it is like, we are the sort of perfectionist types, or the types that want to be seen as the role models, right? And so even if we're not doing things the way that we know we should be, we're going to present as if we are. Right. And it's like, this is like the opposite. This is being like, hey, be authentic, be transparent, like get your stuff on the table. I'll get my stuff on the table, and we'll just see where we can make some headway this week. Right. And there's something that's just like, right. That easeful living habit starts to kick in of like, okay, I can be real, and I can be honest, and I can know, like, I mean, one of the big things I've taught in my Body Thrive, the last 2 courses, is 80%. Like, I'm looking for a B-, you guys. I'm not looking for A. And if you get an A, I don't care. Like, all I care is that, like, the majority here gets to B-. Like, that's my concern, is like, if I can pull off everyone in my group getting a B-, we are on to exponential growth.
How refreshing!
Right? And it just so happens that I was a B- student, like, for the most part, I could pull off a B- in my sleep. And now I'm getting like, oh, right, because that's enough. And I heard the Rob Sullivan, a strategic coach, do this whole thing on like, if anyone on his team, if he assigns a task and they get 80%, they get a B-, he's just like, over the moon. You did it! You're the best! And this is what I love that you did right. And he doesn't even focus on the stuff that isn't even like quite up to par, unless it's like, oh, maybe tweak this, tweak that. But like, a lot of it is just like, this is what you did right. And it keeps pulling the group up.
It is so funny that you talk about this, because this is one of the things that I got very early on in the YHC journey, is go for a B-, not an A+, because I was an A+ student and I got 2 honor thingies, and I even won money for being an A+ student. And so, right? And so I observed you over the years, and I hope this is not too bad to share, but I observed you. I'm like, Cate, really? You could step up how you format your freaking documents. This is terrible formatting. It drove me nuts, right?
Sort of, spelling.
Not really, but I'm like, I noticed it,
We just got a proofreader after like 15 years. Yeah.
Right. It was so interesting to me to watch you be so successful and really making the things that I thought need to be done better, quote unquote, weren't. And so that really convinced me about, hey, I need to let go of this perfection thing. It's like, okay, then fine, I have some spelling errors or some formatting things. That's not the important thing. The important thing is to get the message out and just do it to the best you can, but don't like overdo it. Don't like, go into the micro too much. Stay in the macro and really keep the overview and just keep going, keep pushing the wheel and keep pushing the bicycle forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So in closing, I just want to, the value of the yoga health coaching community and being in continuity and being part of the, part of these different sort of, paths to leadership that we have. And you've been a Living Ayurveda course mentor, and you've really kicked up the whole pro healer path on that to a level that we've never seen. And the results that we're getting on the pro healer path in Living Ayurveda are, they're just, to me, they're mind blowing. It's just so exciting to see. So how has part of just like being in the community and stepping into paths to leadership, like what is that as far as you as a wellness leader, as a wellness professional, like what does that offer you?
Oh my God, tons. I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind is self-confidence and really showing up in a way that, well, I am the leader, and I know something, I don't know everything, but here I am with you on the path and I'm just going to guide you along the way. And just that self-confidence about, I mean, how many people are in LAC? There's like 50 people in LAC or something like that. Well, frankly, I'm just not there in my practice, right? I don't have 50 people all at once in my practice.
There's actually like 80 or 90. Yeah, it's big.
Well, no, there's 90 in the whole LAC, but there's 50.
In the pro healer path. Right. Yeah. In your group. Yeah.
Right. And so just having that, what do you call it? Like that role of leadership is just so self-confidence building. I mean, that's, I think, really what it drills down to. I could say many little things, but that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And just a level of support, and getting it from all angles. I mean, this whole Living Ayurveda is so alive, and YHC is so alive, and there's so many amazing, intelligent, I don't know what the words are, intelligent, well put together, eloquent, committed people in this community that it's support, it's create a role. And what else would there be? And just like a level of, I don't know, there's just a momentum there that I wouldn't have on my own. It's impossible. Yeah.
That's cool. And what I so appreciate too is it brings out the zone of genius. So it's like bringing out your zone of genius, that like without this, right? It's like without this platform for you to speak. I'm like, here, Alex, you take the mic. You can do whatever you want. This is what we're doing in the course this month. Like, do whatever you want. And you get to do whatever you want. We get to see if it works, and it works. And we're like, hey, do you like this? Because this is really what is working on this edge. And it is an evolving edge, right? It's not like, hey, we want you to teach the 7 dhatus, right? Where the way that you were taught them or something like that, where it's like,
yeah, it's actually interesting now that you bring that up. You creating kind of a container, but the container is really big, and there's lots of freedom within that container to expand. And the same with YHC. I mean, you create a container, but the container is really big, and there's lots of room for yourself to expand within. Whereas some other schools might be more structured, and you have only this to teach, these little box to teach, and that's what you have to fit into. So there's lots of freedom there, for sure.
Well, it's been so fun to to be your coach. And
yay!
It's so fun. Like, you're my like healer body worker, but it's been really fun to be your coach in yoga health coaching and see the growth. And I just want to echo what you said earlier about, I mean, I really saw the shift. I mean, I heard you say it on a yoga health coaching call really recently, where you're like, I'm done with victim mentality. I'm like, I hear it, and I'm so glad, because if that's all that yoga health coaching did was just that, of just get you proactive, get you into creative, get you into co-creative, like, holy cow, bam, that's worth it. But to just see how like that's the effect, like that was it, it's almost like the effect of water, of like of just like swimming in the waters of the YHC community and seeing other people take risks, challenge themselves, fail fast, learn always, and keep going, and what that happens. So I imagine, I know from your from our Coach of the Month form, your goals for next year of raising income by 20% in 2017, 20% in 2018. Like, I see absolutely no issues in you hitting that goal. Having the bilingual website. One thing we didn't talk about but we'll talk about it another time, is like, me really kind of pushing you to use your bilingual, bicultural advantage, and explore those niches, because we all know that the United States has a much more developed, and I don't want to say saturated at all. It's not a saturated market, but it's a very developed market, and we can help develop markets in other countries, right? And so you can really help develop the market in Germany. But just seeing that these goals that you've set for yourself, and seeing the tremendous growth that you've had in YHC and YHC continuity, I have full confidence in that you'll have no problem.
Thanks, Cate. That was a fun conversation. Yay!
Yay! Congratulations! Coach of the month, Alexandra Epple.
Yay!
Oh, wait, tell them your website.
Oh, alexandraepple.com. I should spell that, huh?
E-P-P-L-E. Yeah.
E-P-P-L-E. ALEXANDRAEPPLE.com.